Okay, the day has actually come, and I'm actually quite excited. So, I'm really thrilled today to be speaking to a rather exceptional woman. Well, I've had the honor of being around her for the past 30 years. So, even as a young girl, she never moved from A to B just walking. She used to dance, hop, skip, and that was full of energy. And it wasn't a far stretch to think that when she finished her schooling, she would go to university, study dance at UCT, and then get involved with the Summers, get involved with what was the other thing that she got involved with? There were so many things. She got involved with SA Idols. Then she went on to be a lead in the Barnyard setup. So you're probably wondering who I'm going to introduce to you, because this is really a multi-talented woman. She's a singer, a dancer, an actor, a model, and I can go on. So I just want to welcome or give a warm welcome to Zoë Lee Townsend. How are you?
Thank you. Good. I'm so excited. I'm so glad that you asked me to be a part of your amazing channel list of guests. So I'm super excited. I've been waiting for this.
Well, it's cycling up everything now because I've been excited. We've spoken to your mom, we've spoken to your sister, and I was waiting for this
Yes.
moment because there's so much that we have to chat about.
Oh my
So I'm
gosh,
also very
totally.
excited. So before we get into sort of the things that you are busy doing now as an adult, I'm going to take you way back to the time that probably you can't even remember that far back, but just as a child, do you remember anything about your earliest childhood memories, things you recall? It could be random, but just something. But I want to tell you, it's going to remind us of the little Zoe you remember back then. Not from now, but what kind of Zoe you remember yourself as back
Yes.
then.
Well, I've never really thought about it, but I think I think I remember just being crazy as a child, like all over the place, running everywhere, very loud, but also just given the space to be my crazy self, which is probably why I'm still that way. This is me being reserved. But yeah, I think just lots of singing, lots of dancing, and that's really the environment that you and mommy set up for us. And yeah, I think just having lots of fun, lots of space and freedom to explore whatever we enjoy doing, and yeah, church, worship music, um, friends and family, but very close knit group, which was also awesome.
You're mentioning friends and family. Now, family, you can't do anything about it. You're born and you have to live with them. But what during those early years that you were growing up, and you can just tell us where you grew up, but who were the key people that kind of were your buddies, your friends around that you probably spent a lot of time with? And it's probably based on where you lived at the time also.
Yes. So definitely Stacey Barron, Lisa Marie. I don't know why I'm saying the surname. Sorry, I just you know the whole name when you're at school. You know everyone by name and surname. But Stacey, who's the parents. I think it was the parents being friends. So then the children automatically became friends. Stacey was a really great friend of mine, and she still is, which is pretty amazing because now that everything, as the years have gone by, we haven't been in touch as much. But I see parts in them that gives them now, in my life, that gives them the very same spot they had before. And it's like their character is still on point. Yes, we've got our, ums and ahs, but I find things in them that I treasured back in the day, that after meeting so many amazing people and having great friendships and fellow colleagues. I now at this time in my life, they are two solid people that still have a place in my life. Um, yeah, and who else? I mean, junior school. I think I was friends with a lot of people. I'm really bad at recalling my childhood.
No,
Like,
it's fine. We
it's a
remember
crazy
everything.
thing. Yeah, it's the craziest thing. My memory when I was little is like pieces, and probably just remembered by performances, to be quite honest. And then from high school, I would say I definitely mixed with everyone as well, but more so in high school. Um, and I was very close with. It's so bad me mentioning the names because I feel like I need to get in
Yeah,
touch
the
with them.
danger is you might leave some people's names out.
Exactly. So I think, I mean, I was really close at different times with different people, but I would say Carmen and Michelle were really two close friends of mine, different in different ways. In the Lord, definitely, and also with music and dance. Michelle was like my other, another version of me. I mean, my double, at high school. Carmen was just, she's an amazing woman. I really definitely need to reconnect with them. Um, I'm not sure if you edit any of this out, but,
Yeah. I
but
think I think we'll sort of just keep all the names down low so that those watching it won't like go like you forgot me.
you forgot me. Yeah, yeah, that is true because
but
they'll,
but
if
it's
they see it,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But it's fine
Um,
because I mean it's in this
yeah,
probably just short of an hour that we'll be chatting. You're not going to recall everything, but you
yeah.
mentioned something
I have
that
many
I'd like
friends
to
though, many
take
good
you back to
friends.
quickly. You said you were junior school and you were at high school. Maybe you can give us which those schools were so that people kind
Oh
of have an idea
yes.
of where you were sort of trained. And an interesting thing is, why did you jump over from the one school to the other? Because I know your first school has both lower, whatever they call it, lower standards and high school. But then you made the transition. Was there a reason for that?
I just knew exactly what I wanted to do in my schooling career at that point. I actually, it's so interesting because I think about it more and more the older I get, the more conscious I am about what my life was when I was younger, and what influenced those decisions or what didn't influence those decisions. But so I went to Collegiate Junior School for Girls, which I'm oh so proud of. I'm more proud of it now than ever. And it was a typical Model T school. I think that's what they call it, and all girls. So that was just normal for me. I didn't know any different. I think preschool or what do you call it, creche, kindergarten, or something before then, that was mixed. I think, yeah, and then went on to the all girls school, and so yeah, I mean, collegiate was just a great solid foundation for just traditionally getting everything into a child, like just typical girl things like grooming, just the tradition. I think it's more based on probably the English schools. I think that's what I could relate it to. So we did hymns, we did musicals, we had all the societies available to us, and I was as involved as I could be in that.
But I don't think every girl in the school wore a white girdle. Okay, so we've got to make exceptions.
Yes, it's, the person I was in junior school and the person I became by the end of high school were two different people. I mean, not in a bad way, but yeah, I ended up being like the perfect, I think, collegiate girl, which was a white girdle prefect. So, the posture was all there. I mean, look how I'm sitting now. I mean, come on. But my posture was all there, and I had a white girdle, and I won the best white girdle by the time I finished. And I think it was a bit disappointing to my teachers when I actually didn't go on to the high school, because by the time I finished junior school, I was kind of like some form of an example, I guess, of a collegiate girl. But I would definitely consider myself more on the cultural side. Although I know that if I did put more time into my academics, I could have done great. But I didn't do badly. I didn't do badly.
Yeah, I think you're underrating yourself there, just for modesty's sake.
I think I did better in high school academically, actually. But I mean, I could go on and on, but yeah, collegiate. I guess I had I formed my decision on to go to collegiate high school or Alexander Road High School, based on which is where I went. Um, how happy my parents were about the school, and what, having the co-ed experience, so just mixing with guys. I saw how strange some of the girls were when they just stayed like in the all girls school, like all through the end. But there's pros and cons to each. And I think the cultural program was a big pull to Alexander at High, because that was everything I loved, and they had a strong program for the arts, as well, honestly, as academics and sports, all of that. So I think it was like their motto. Well, not the motto. The motto was Nil sine labore, which is nothing without labor,
Well done.
which I love. What is that, Latin?
Latin.
Yeah. And Facta non verba was Collegiate Junior's motto, which is deeds, not words.
Okay, no, you're gonna expose me now if you start to go Latin.
Yeah, okay.
I'll take your
Yeah,
word
but
for it on every
I
clip.
just, yeah, I mean, I think yeah, that's the only, these are like ingrained in me. That must be that. If the other one's the other, then that must, non-verbal, yeah, non-verbal. Anyway, and the, they broke Alex into ALEX, the altogether experience. So it was a very family orientated type experience that they were promoting. And yeah, it just seems so inviting and so diverse. And everyone has their opinions about each school, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. And it's weird, but when people are like, I miss high school, or I'm going to miss these people when I leave, that was the feeling. It was like you kind of build yourself up to this point, and you finally get comfortable with who you are, you make friends across the board, and then you have to leave. And then I left so far away, well, far enough, after that. But it was an incredible opportunity for me to be whoever I wanted, which I think is what high school should be. And I grew in every little area, which was very cool, academically, culturally, and leadership wise. Yeah, it was really, really fantastic.
I think you mentioned such a lot of stuff, and I don't want to sort
I
of
had to hold
stop the
back,
bus at
sorry.
your school, because I think you've got a great, yeah, you've got a great story to tell us as far as your career goes and so forth. But I think it's really powerful what you're sharing with us, because I think everything forms a foundation for the next level. And
Yes.
if I recall, I mean, you did drama at school. You were in a play which you could share with us. You also got to eventually to your grade 8 flute. You were flautist.
Yes.
You had a movie, a small movie, everything. So, in the next maybe 3-4 minutes, I know this will be a big push, but just give us that synopsis of those multifactorial areas and multi-talented areas that you found yourself in at Alex as such?
So I definitely got opportunities early on, which I was really excited about, um, because I think I had such a full childhood leading up until then, performing and just being involved in whatever, um, you and my mother, mommy was involved in terms of music and dance and just in general, I think. So yeah, I think a big part of it was to do with my teachers. I had incredible teachers. I mean, junior school was fantastic as well, but high school, I mean, just great people and the top of their
You
professions,
can
in
name
my
drop if you
opinion.
want to at this stage.
I mean, by the end, obviously, we had I had the opportunity to have a bunch of different teachers, so we don't stay in the same class. I know some schools I actually learned that they stay in the same class with the same teacher for quite a number of years, or from the beginning to the end. So I think, yeah, we were grouped in certain classes according to, I'm not sure if it was our selection of subjects or if it was our academic proficiency, but I think our school was quite strong on mixing the groups, which I think is great. So we stayed in our class. Actually, we did stay. Sorry, we did stay pretty much in the class we got to high school in, and then our teachers just changed. And then when we took subjects, obviously we got pushed into our certain classes with sometimes one subject only had one teacher. So I would say, honestly, my dramatic art teacher, Sandy Osborne, she played a really big role in just giving, I don't know, just always believing that and encouraging me in doing whatever I I wanted to do, and that I could do anything and be involved, and pushing me to be involved in the plays, and that despite my age I could still be playing with the older drama students, and any outside activities she was also really encouraging of. But honestly, everybody was really encouraging of that, the teachers in general. um, oh my goodness. So let me, in terms of my involvement, yeah, I would say I'm gonna narrow it down to my when I started my subject. So I did mathematics with the best maths teacher ever, Mrs. DeZitter. Incredible human being, beautifully, like, so disciplined but so heartfelt, so um, well studied, just committed to seeing her students do well and explaining things so well. Great teacher, and yeah, giving us a space to thrive. So yeah, I did mathematics. um, I really said I wasn't gonna talk like
No,
so much, but
no, that's
trying to
fine.
summarize it here.
You are summarizing it for Zoe's sense.
Exactly. So mathematics, tourism with just a fantastic teacher. Oh my goodness, I'm forgetting his name. Mr. Niemand, I think. Not no, Mr. Nyman. Sorry. Um, and he was just knowledge of everything, tourism related, geography, all of that. um I feel like the time I had with him was actually short, but that was amazing as well, just learning a little bit about tourism, hospitality, things like that. um um my dramatic art, which is Sandy Osborne. um um I would actually like to
I
coach with
won't
her
stretch you too
at
far.
some
I
point.
won't stretch you too far because just now,
Yeah.
as we say, we might forget some of them. I'm going to push you
I
in the
think I've
direction
exceeded
of
my
Sandy
4 minute thing
Osborne,
already.
because I
And my music.
that's fine. No, Sandy, your music was key, and Sandy Osborne. I want you to sort of take us out on your schooling career with your role that you played in Greece, because I think you were much younger than the rest of the
Oh
cast, if I
yeah.
recall. So maybe just give us
Yeah.
something on that role and how that actually happened.
So the first time that I got an opportunity to, just reminding me of all these things now, to audition for the famous Alexander Road High musicals, was in grade 9. It might have been the end of grade 8, leading up to, the auditions were earlier, and then we got to play it later on. But I I auditioned. I mean, the musical was Grease,
Grease
one of the
Lightning.
greatest, So Grease the musical was on the books, and I can't remember exactly how it came about, but basically, I think from grade nines, I might be mistaken, but from grade 9 onwards, you were allowed to be in the musicals, but only grade 10 to 12s. And I don't think it was limited to drama students, but you could get lead roles only between grade 10 and 12. So I ended up auditioning, and it must have been early on. I think I had, yeah, I wouldn't have even chosen dramatic art as a subject. So I auditioned, and then you're actually making me realize that this was maybe more than I thought.
Yeah, I
um,
think your grandfather came
yes.
from Cape Town. The family came down from Cape Town to come and see you because you were this
Oh
young girl who was
my word!
you
Yes.
literally were performing on stage where there were all these kind of seniors at school,
Oh.
and that's why I think it's a very significant thing that you can share with us.
And they are such prolific performers now, and I'm so grateful that I got a chance to perform with them, all the other leads. So I auditioned and somehow got the role of Sandy. I remember towards the end of the audition process with um, my Danny as well. And I learned a little bit about chemistry as well, how that works when you're auditioning. That was such an interesting process for me. Just, sometimes the people you think you're going to have chemistry with, you don't, and the unexpected, you do. So that was very interesting. But I auditioned, and then, yeah, I just remember, like, eventually at the end of the audition process, it was like reading out the names, and I felt so bad because I was in grade 9, and I got basically the title or the lead role, and I felt bad because I thought some of the older students would have wanted that role. But I think it ended up being, sometimes in musicals or any plays or film, you get the main character isn't always the character that shows you off the best or that fits your type, like I've been learning about. um it's and the girl that I thought would have wanted my part got a part that I think she was super happy with, but she was a lot more mature than me, loads of experience. And now I just think of all those. I think they were grade 12 or grade 11 at the time. They are doing so well in the entertainment industry, locally and abroad. And I mean, I just remember also there was an award I ended up winning by the end. Like, I ended up being very, like, you know, I didn't really care much for awards and academics, but it became like quite, it kind of spurs you on when you start getting recognition for it, and you're like, okay, maybe I can actually, achieve these things. And you become a little bit more invested in it. And I also won the contribution to drama award at the end. There's a name for it, sorry, but that was what it was for. And I was like, if I just want that one, because the list of people that were on it before me were so great. And I was like, you know what, if I can just leave my stamp on that award, I'm good. So that was really one of my favorite. And then the music also was, um, I was really grateful to um, get some of that recognition also by the time I finished. But Greece was an amazing experience, and I we did one other musical after that, but that was definitely like more the typical experience of me being in a musical. And I remember going to the Showtime Awards, which was the biggest thing ever in Port Elizabeth. And Stacey was actually with me, my friend. So that was super fun, because that was like all the theatre people once a year getting together at the opera
Mm.
house. And you're like next to like these greats that you just like, at the time you're like, oh my word, these people are like celebrities and everything to you. So just to be, I just literally walked across the stage to get like a certificate, basically like a participation award. But they like call it an award. So I didn't win, but all the nominees go up and get the certificate. But yeah, it was amazing.
I want you to remember this point. I'm going to make this point now.
Yes.
You started off with feeling sorry for the people that didn't get the role, to the point of I would like to get on that list of named people. So, in your career, as we're going to talk a bit just in a short while, um, I want you to remind me of that. Whether that situation also happens where you become the sort of understanding and give everyone a chance. But into the industry,
Mm.
you almost have to get to a point where there's a cutting edge thing. So just keep that on the back
Yes.
burner.
Cool.
Before we leave your family setup, do you have
Yes.
a couple of memories? When I say leave your family, I don't mean leave your family. I mean
Moving
leave
to
your
another
youthful days and
topic.
your schooling and all that. Um, just maybe one or two memories that you have about going on holiday with the family. And I think it's a bit early to ask you now. I probably might ask you this at the end, but I think I'll ask it now. Is there one thing about our family, your family, that keeps you grounded and focused, or some important value that you've actually carried on through your life, like your two friendships that you've carried on right through your life, when you say with Stacy and with um, I'm getting
Lisa
old
Marie.
now, Elisa Marie.
Yes.
Are there values that have carried through for you? So holidays, something that you remember, and a value. And then from that, I'm just going to speak now and just say that you went to do dance at UCT, got your degree in dance and communication. And after this little part now, I'm going to move on to your actual post university and your career, because I think that would be interesting and lessons that you've learned there. Okay.
Awesome. Well, holiday wise, I mean, we were so privileged now that I realize what it takes to go on holiday now. I just remember Cape Town. I think my sister was also mentioning some of these holiday moments, but I guess it was the same for both of us. She, we would, we were in Port Elizabeth at the time, grew up, born and raised, and got to come up and down to Cape Town, where my mom's family, most of the family were living. And at the time, I mean, the Townsend side, my dad's side, your guys' side was in Port Elizabeth. So I guess that was kind of what was why we would go up and down, but not need to go anywhere else. So that was amazing. We had lots of cousin time. Oh my goodness. Again, just putting on shows, cousins concerts. We had this cousins concerts thing. Like we'd charge tickets, charge for the tickets. I don't know. It was like, I think 50 cents or something to,
Was there
to
anybody
enter.
that was the producer and director of these events? I'm just asking.
know what? I think in the beginning, the elders were quite involved with arranging and helping us, but I was probably more bossy than I remember, and definitely had a part in directing for sure. But it was definitely like a collaborative effort. I mean, honestly, everyone is talented in our family in terms of performing, like, just public speaking, I guess marketing, and the music and art side. Um, in some way, which is pretty amazing. Everyone's kind of gone their own paths, but they're kind of similarly related to entertainment in some way or marketing. So, yeah, those were pretty amazing because that was just a chance to do whatever we wanted and choose our favorite songs, create our own dances. At the time, I don't think I sang that much. I think I was more dancing. But yeah, the cousins would just create something, and apart from our famous tent beds in the lounge, taking my grandmother's sheets and pulling the couch pillows out of, the couches, and just having a ball of a time, like doing our own thing. That was super fun. And yeah, just chatting a lot. I mean, Rena and I, my one cousin, we were close in age, so I guess that's why we connected the most. And we just chat all night long. Yeah, and be in our little tent in our own world, I think, and just do our thing and go out and dress the same, and you know talk in accents at the mall. I mean, it was just the funnest. We were crazy. And then, yeah, I think Pine Lake Marina was another like big one where the family would get together. I think it was, I think, once a year, where our grandparents had a timeshare. And then I think Jessie also mentioned, my sister, she mentioned that we thought that my grandmother owned the place because it was called Pine Lake Marina and her name is Marina. So for many years it was like a block. We were like, is this true? What's going on? And she was so involved. So it was like just went along with the whole thing. So yeah, those are, I guess, the memories I have in terms of holidays with family. Mostly family, not many friend holidays. Friend holidays were at home, lots of movies, um, a few productions as well. And yeah, mostly, honestly, mostly Stacey and I just chatting nonstop, and watching movies, lots of movies. And then, yeah, I mean,
Nice.
yeah, and the other topic
And
you were
the
saying
other
was, oh,
part is
values.
the lesson from family value. Yeah, that's
Yes. So I think it's more from like example, to be honest. It's me putting into words is quite interesting, but I think the values you can, feel, I think, with what type of people we are. I think very loving and very accepting, and never short on time to chat. I think is a value, because a lot of people just don't have that much time to talk, and or aren't that type of person, which is also cool. I mean, I've learned from those people as well. But always keen to help any day. So I think, yeah, I definitely learned that from you guys. And also, what was the other thing I was thinking? Oh, it slipped my mind now. But I
don't
mean, there's so
yeah,
many.
don't worry about the other things. It makes me feel at home because things slip my mind every minute of the day.
If
So
you try and remember them, sometimes
yeah,
they
you'll
just
remember
like,
him when we're done with the chat. That's how it works.
yes,
I'm
yeah.
going to take, your life is so full of things that you've done, and we just sort of scratching the surface. But before we go into the things that, as I mentioned, with the Psalmers and Idols and Barnyard and things that you've experienced there, how that all came about, just your understanding when you have your schooling life and you go through and you start as a young person and then you hit life. Um,
Sure.
is
Yeah.
what your expectation of life was and what life really is? Is it that different? Is it easy to adapt? Um, was the transition, when I say transition, not a personal one, but is the perception of how you expected it to be and what it is it very vast, or can people make it through? Can people get hope that it's not that bad, or it's very good?
I think the short answer to that is it depends how you deal with it and honestly who you rely on, which the Lord Jesus Christ. I mean, that's the only way, honestly, that I've been able to get through. But I don't think I had any expectation on what life was. I just had like one or two things that I really wanted to do. If I think of what I thought I wanted to do when I was younger and what happens in real life, definitely different. Um, when I was younger, I just wanted to be famous, and I didn't even know what famous was. I mean, I was just like, I just want to be like on stage and be a big star and famous and all of that, like my favorite superstars. And the reality of it is so real to me now. And it's so interesting because I love reflecting on it, and getting a chance to explain it to anybody who doesn't realize what it means and takes to be. I guess I can speak on the performing side, to be a performer full time or even part time. Um, so that's, I love talking about that, and sharing what I've learned. Um, and but I mean, yeah, in life in general, I think I was on a fast train after I left, probably to even towards the end of my university years. I was already trying to work. I mean, I was working uh, in like adult industries, I mean, in
You're going to
adult
be clear about
corporate.
adult industries. That sounds
Sorry,
very
sorry.
ominous.
That, yeah, not that one. In the adult, I was just gonna say
I think you must leave
that
it
one.
at that.
In
You're
the
safer.
corporate sector, while I was still studying, which was very, but to be honest, I had always been working or performing with older people, I think, since I was younger. So it didn't seem strange for me to be involved in the workforce. When I just suddenly came into it, I guess, I don't know, I got the opportunities and I just always said yes. I think that's a big thing. Like, even till now, like I have a different I'd have a different approach to it. So I'm realizing also that I have to, um, it's okay for me to say, um, to pick certain projects or certain things, um, if I really don't want to do it. And I think that comes with age and experience,
Mhm.
or when you're deciding what direction you want to go. And it's going to really help you focus going forward. I'm starting to kind of apply that more specifically. I think going like at this point, which I'm very grateful for, because I love doing everything, but I'm also starting to realize things that I didn't necessarily want to do, that I did because I thought I had to do it, and not because anybody had told me, just because I hadn't figured out for myself exactly what I um, wanted to do, but I mean, I'm speaking very generally now, but yeah, I
Yeah,
think, yeah.
what I think is important to understand is that you have a pre-life of when you get into your kind of working life. However, yours has been
Yeah.
quite unique in that if I looked at you as a child, you were wanting to dance, you couldn't sit still, you were singing, you were doing all that. And now you're in your adult life and you're actually doing all those stuff. And even though you
Yeah.
wanted to be famous, your connection
Still acting
wasn't,
like a kid.
yeah, your connection wasn't like, oh, I've now attained my purpose and my dream. It was almost seemed like
Yeah.
it wasn't going in that direction. And the balance between you, that's what makes it so unique. It's
Yes.
looks like it's been planned, but it actually wasn't totally planned.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I'd like you to share with the folk that's listening about the idols and Psalmers and Barnyard, how,
Yes.
even though you didn't anticipate that it was linked to your youth, when you encountered these things, there's life experiences that you've got to make decisions, decide certain things. Were the key things that helped you get through that? Were you preparing yourself? Were you ready for it? Were you not ready? Just use this next section to almost give someone who wants to get into this space a few things behind the scenes, some thoughts in your head about helping them get through into the industry kind of
Yes.
thing.
So, I mean, just to start with, I hope this gives anyone listening freedom, more than fear. I mean, don't be fearful about anything, but um, there is no one way. And that means that there is your unique way. So I can't tell you that everything I did was the reason why I got the opportunities or got to work in certain industries or with certain people because of what I did. Obviously, God is orchestrating this entire thing, which is so amazing. But honestly, a big thing is to, I think, not demand things of life, but work for them. And if you really like something, research it as much as you can, and then do it even in your own capacity, even if it's in your room at home, or do it for a few people. Give it a try, get some feedback, see what people think. I honestly didn't have a lot of that. Maybe at school I did have that feedback, but I was just going and going and going. So like I guess just always I guess being open to people, you know, trying to talk to people in any industry, because you never know who you might meet. I met people in the marketing activations industry that was just as much in the entertainment industry. And now looking back at any projects that I did, I'm like, oh my goodness, these people are like now or even then were big industry players, and I can connect with them. And they're directing huge productions, or their films on Netflix right now, or whatever. It's just interesting to see that. So I think not taking any person and any circumstance for granted. Don't worry about if you've achieved your dream or your goal, whatever. Honestly, Oprah put it so nicely in a book. I wish I had that quote now. But it's not, and this overnight success, this dream that you achieve, like you were saying, and then it's done. And if it doesn't happen by the time you think it should happen, don't worry about it. Like, just continue doing whatever you feel at the time is necessary. um, and you'll make the connections yourself. It's like, I'm so randomly remembering my grade 12 or 10, when was it, I think grade 11 maths, um, when I just felt my brain maturing. It was the strangest thing, because I thought that I couldn't do things. Like, I honestly thought that I wasn't good at academics, and that's such a lie. Like, and there was a lot of stuff that I think some people had said that I wasn't able to achieve, and I just realized it's because I didn't get the right support or the right training, or I had too little training to achieve that thing and do well in it. Like maybe I needed a little bit more work than someone else did. And the other girls were getting all this training, and then I'm trying to compare myself to them. And I think that's another lesson, like in general, like there's so many amazing people out there, and it's so much more publicized online, where there's you get to see how many hundreds of thousands of great professionals there are in whatever industry you're in. And then sometimes we tend to compare ourselves to them without seeing the process that comes before. And sometimes, even if they show you the process, it's still not the full experience. And honestly, the only way is to take it and find someone you relate to. Like I do that. Like I promise you, there's someone who you'll find who is just like you, who values the same things you value in terms of what you're looking for to get to your goal that you think you want to achieve. And the person had gone through those challenges. You can take a little bit from everyone, and find a way to make, and then look at yourself and say, what do I like, what do I think I am, what do I want to achieve, and then mix that together, and that becomes your success. um I feel like I'm giving a motivational speech. what
That
what was
is
the question?
no, that is so awesome. I am so excited that you shared that. That is so powerful. I'm going to throw a little spanner in the works now to take
Any
you
day.
on the track that you are going now, and just to expound onto it. You have
Yes.
this young boy or girl coming to you and saying, or a parent coming to you and saying that my child wants to go out and become a actor, they want to become an artist. I want them to go get their degree and get a job and keep a job. I want them to have a stable job. How do you advise them? I think you in the most, I'm putting you into a corner now, but you in the most appropriate space to give that advice, because I think that's what I said to you when you wanted to go study at varsity, the arts and dance and all that. I was like, no, get a degree in something you can go sit in an office. And that question comes up such a lot with kids
That's
who
amazing.
aspire. How would you deal with that,
Yes.
or advice you would give to them?
Hmm. It's a tough one. I mean, I think now that you said get a degree, I don't actually remember that, because I've had thoughts on thinking, if that was what I thought I was supposed to do, I would have done that. But now that you're saying it, I think I remember it now. And I don't know where mommy stood in it, but now my decision to study what I studied is different to what I thought it would be when I started. So it's a very interesting topic. Honestly, there's so many facets to it. I think, to be honest, I can't even talk about level of ability, because, you know, everybody with training can get really good, because, yeah, if you love something, you also have to work for it to do it professionally. And at university, you will be challenged in every way when you do art. And if you can deal with that and have either a good support system, or rely on, I don't know, counselors at university, or speaking to people in the industry, finding a way to strengthen yourself. And I think it's a lot of support is needed, to do really well when you're studying it. But and you'll be great, you'll thrive. But I don't know, it's a difficult one, because I always imagine that, I'm interested in things like the law, or law. I did a course. I did a course that didn't end really well, but I did a course, Business Law 1, and it was so interesting to me. And I think just now, even, I mean, even of late, the industry I was involved in, also was a big portion of it was a legal side with a lot of paperwork that I have to understand. I find that so interesting, but so sometimes I'm like, could I have done law? Could I have done what would be the other thing? I mean, I thought the other day, I was like, my father's a dentist. He could have literally um, ushered me into dentistry. Like I could have probably been really good, like just for the fact that he was there and you could guide me through my studies. But I don't. I think I do have a couple of answers for you. I'm just trying to get there. Sorry. Um, Definitely study. Okay, I don't know what my answer is, but for this part of the conversation, I'm going to say study what you want to do. If it's really what you want to do, don't study next to it like I did. I studied I studied something I'd always done all my life. I did dance and ended up switching and adding a major and changing my degree, which I also was super interested in. I think because of, somehow I think my upbringing or the schools I was at, and I would say honestly, drama and English at school. Um, I was able to write and speak well, so the media made sense. But I also didn't know what I was doing by the time I had left. Like I didn't. I thought I was supposed to go into one industry when I was supposed to go into another one. But anyway, I think everybody experiences that where you think you have an idea, but you kind of you realize it a little bit afterwards. What things are relevant to what you're studying and what you enjoy, what career options are out there. Okay, let me give career advice. If you want a career, it's an intersection between a few things. If you want a career in something that's going to make you money, then go and research what industries are doing really well at the time or over the last decade or last 5 years or projected, and then go see if you can do it. Like, I mean, subject wise, I don't think I had the freedom to just choose anything, but maybe earlier on, if I had that mindset, maybe it would have been different. I don't know. But if you're going that way, then totally do that, or do all the hard subjects at school and then do extracurricular. Because honestly, this is a conversation that needs to start at school level, especially when you're choosing subjects. So I would, look at like, oh, I mean, what do you want to be in your family? Like, do you have the luxury of being a full time performer? Like, can your parents afford it? Or is there a community project you can get involved in that can help you with your costs for performing? And then can you just study accounting and doing biology and all of that and, get your degree and do that type of thing? I think you have to, things change over the years, and you could also mend both of them. Like, I am also interested in, I don't know why, but I'm really interested in vocal health and the meeting of your craft to how your body responds and how the two work together to get a really good product. So if you studied biology but you're like a prolific singer, or you could mix the two and be a therapist or physics, whatever it is, or the law side, you could be a music lawyer. I mean, I think the challenge might be here, I would say, um, with trying to not sound too ignorant, but I think just being educated about our decisions and getting a lot of people's opinions, speaking to people in the industry, speaking to your parents, speaking to people in different professions, writing down what you think you like, what you think you're good at, what the marks are saying. you know, I think it's just this whole collaboration thing, because at the end of the day, you might not exactly know what you're doing when you make those decisions, and that's natural. I mean, no one, you're a child, and even I'm still learning, I'm still making decisions that I'm trying to figure out. So um yeah, I think if you're going to study the arts, do something that you really want to do. And I think you can always find a way to incorporate the things that you are like next to those things that you like. Or if you're really good academically, definitely go for that and do it extracurricularly.
Yeah.
Curricularly. Because honestly, with the arts, like depending on what you want to get into, like Broadway or musicals are different to film and television. Um, Modeling. It's like, I guess it depends on what type of art you want to do. Dance is very, I mean, there's really amazing dancers that are not necessarily like university trained, but the university teachers are also teaching outside. So if you end up joining the right program, you can always do it. I would just say keep doing it. Like if it's something you want to do, keep doing it on the side. If you're going to do academic, more academic, you know what I mean, like a different profession outside of the arts, um, so that you don't lose your practice. Because I struggled with that a little bit, but also don't fret about that if you're at that point now and you want to revisit it. Start slowly, find a happy medium, and with enough patience you will be able to achieve that, or a version that is new that nobody you know has, that you can present to people, that is um, yeah, something different if it's not industry standard.
Yeah. Yeah, Zoe, that is quite phenomenal. I'm not saying that
It's a
just
lot of
because
information.
I'm wanting to say it. I think you'll be reaching out to a lot of people who are in the indecision stage. And if I read correctly, what you're referring to is literally saying, there's not only dance or there's not only singing and that. Look at it holistically, because if your parents maybe want you to go in that direction, find the link between that and where your passion lies, and find a middle ground where you could be studying law while you're wanting to do law in the arts, or where you're studying something. Don't just be totally monochrome in what you do. Look at the options that exist, and like you say, work side by side. You could be doing law while you're doing the arts, and they support each other. So that's the kind of message I get. As we round this off, Zoe, I want to put it out there, just your
I don't want it to end.
I want you to put it out there, the role that you think that Yahweh plays in guiding your life and your career. When you were younger, you depend on your parents doing all the decisions. As you get older, you realize that our Father in heaven plays a very integral role, and I don't think we can exclude him, because I've seen him work in your life. Your name means abundant life, Zoe. So I think he's played such an integral role. So for people who are stepping out there now, who maybe want to get into the arts and kind of learn from what you are saying, how much of that is how you depend on Yahweh's guidance in that? And if that part you can lead us out of our time today, we'll set up more time in the future, but for this would be our time that's spent together. And I'm glad you say you don't want to end it now,
Thank
because it,
you.
it is exciting, but all good things have to come to a pause.
Yes,
Yeah, so just
definitely.
share that with us at Yahweh's role in your life, probably more in this latter part now of your life, your older adult life.
To me, it's honestly everything, and uh, I don't know if who's watching or who can relate, but it's a very practical part of my life. So um, I think it's you can break it down to what how God is leading you in your decisions, to um, how it's explained in the Bible. and to narrow it down even more, how what Jesus says about how we should live life. Like, honestly, that's all you need to know. If you don't know anything, start there, because it just gives us the principles to let God work in our lives. So, if, for instance, I'm feeling like I want to achieve something in life, but I'm being impatient, and I'm like, but why isn't this happening? And, you know, um, questioning everything. I think something like, fruits of the spirit, like patience, is a perfect example of what's going to help you get to your next stage, because sometimes it's not you even that needs the work to be ready for your next opportunity. It's sometimes God needs to work on someone else. God needs to set it up, and those people aren't ready, or whatever it is. Sometimes it is you. Sometimes you think you're ready and you're not. I remember when I was little, I think I was 11. I think I was 11. And God gave me this vision. It was just like, and I think it's not even, it's not even a weird vision thing. It's like, it's just a picture, or it was like half a dream or whatever. Like, um, where I thought I wanted my thing. I mean, to be honest, my first professional gig was when I was 11, but I full time performed since 27. So, like, when it was absolutely full time. So, I waited a long time, even though I did it my entire life, and yeah, a lot of people do that, but I'm grateful that it happened like that. Honestly, it was definitely preparation. And going back to what we were speaking about earlier, like, if you prepare yourself, if you do it in your own capacity as much as possible, and research and find out whatever you're interested in, you will God will prepare you for that moment. And that's also part of what I believe is God's principles. um just doing the work. Like, it's a bit of a harsh scripture, but you can also take it as a good wake up call. But I saw it. Yeah, I don't want it to be misinterpreted, but I think it's in Proverbs, where it says, a dream comes through much activity. So for me, it just shows that, like, the more you do it, the more your dream will come. And the next part is, and a fool is known by his many words. So it's like it's like, those people who just talk about it the whole time. Oh, talk, you know. Just find peace in the activity you do towards that thing, and it will come to you. Like, um I think Jesus just did. He healed, he spoke to people, he answered the questions over and over again. He's like, oh my word, you guys. He's like, okay, I'll answer it again. Are you not understanding what I'm saying? He was the greatest. But he is the greatest. But yeah, I think that part, like, the way I even got the Barnyard theater show, I was doing a corporate job at the time, which I also had experience in, and fought my way to get that job. But it had its challenges, and it was a short-lived experience. But I I had I on my way to work every day, through my tears, I would, um, firstly sing worship songs to God, and just get my spirit in the right place, and feel, in the right, you know, invite the presence of God around me. And then I would also do vocal exercises, and I had nothing at the time. And then I got this amazing opportunity to perform full time, out of nowhere. Well, not out of nowhere, but I just see how, in that way, how when you believe and you do the things to help you get there, the timing is God is preparing you. So God prepared me by giving that, even that group of exercises He gave to me, like a couple of months before that, I ended, because I was researching and looking up and whatever. And I mean, that's a whole nother story. But um, yeah, I think just like making sure that your decisions are based on that really allows God to do way better things than you could have ever imagined for yourself. I mean, I was just thinking about the other day, the fact that I'm even here in Johannesburg again is a miracle. Like, it's just, I mean, I I can talk about it all day, but yeah, to just end off on what you were saying with God's role in your life, like if you just see it the way God sees it, you will see the bigger picture. You know, you will be happy it took the time it took. I also think that, there's that song, Suddenly, the suddenly moves that God does, after it could also happen quicker than you expect. But I think when you ground yourself in the word, and I mean, if you don't know what that is, like, I was just thinking about it last night, like, if you can get hold of a Bible, there's so much great, like, stuff online as well, like really cool preachers and stuff. But if you can get hold of a Bible, I would say check out the red writing, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, or one of those, and just see what Jesus says. Like, just have a read. It's not even what people have told you in the past, or Christianity. Like, you'll see things that make so much sense. It will teach you about life, and will teach you how to deal with everything. And I can say, it applies to my whole life, and I just happen to be doing this. I'm so grateful that I'm even in this position. it I don't even know how I got here, but I'm like so grateful, and I'm like, I'm just stepping into it now to like embrace it and actually come into it and be like, God has chosen me to do what I'm doing, and I want to take hold of that, and not be ashamed, and not run away from it in terms of having expectations on myself, even to to you know I don't know. Even honestly, financially and with provision, like if you look to God as your provider, like in the arts, it's crazy, but like with God, it makes it all better. Like when your
Amen.
trust is in Him, because then it's not your own flesh trying to, achieve something, but um, it's, whatever you do is to the glory of God, and that sets it straight. But we can do a whole podcast on that too.
Amen.
I try to
Zoe,
summarize
that
it.
is fantastic, fantastic. I'm so excited that we got to do this, that we put this part of it
Me
down. The future
too.
still lies out there, and we will get to do another recording in the future, like I'm going to do with your mom and your sister still, and have a few other people. So I
It's a lot
appreciate.
to cover in one, so
Yes, yes.
so maybe that's yeah.
Yeah, it, I mean, that's why I've called it Your Story Matters, because it's not,
Yeah.
everything about your life in an hour, but it's parts
Mm.
there that is going to inspire people. And just um, we do this on an ad hoc basis, that I don't prep where it's going to, because it needs to come from the heart. And what you've shared is just so spot on. I'm excited for people who are going to listen to it. They'll be blessed with it and get direction, for people that could follow, who wants to go in the directions you've been going. So I've been blessed to be sitting here and listening to you. I've really very special, and thank you
Same.
very much, my angel. And yeah, you want to say goodbye to everybody, and we'll meet and see them sometime soon again.
Yes. Thanks, guys, for watching, and well done for making it through. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like I could just, if anyone has questions, you can definitely email me. Um, and I would love to just share my thoughts with you. But I'm definitely working on a bunch of projects. So hopefully, I'll be able to share things that I've experienced, and like tips and tricks, and all of that on various platforms. So yeah, we can also interact then.
There we go. Maybe that's the start of it. We're starting here today. Your audience will be listening that Zoe will start a
That's why I was
podcast
so
soon.
excited.
So I think this will be the start to inspire you to start your podcast and get some guests on there and also do that.
It's been a long time coming. I've been hoping to do it for a while. Yeah.
There we go. So bless you, my angel. I love you a lot. My firstborn daughter of mine, the elder sister of my other daughter, and the daughter of my wife. I'm so blessed that you have achieved what you've achieved, and still the future looks really bright for you. And I cannot thank the Father enough for keeping you in His care, and also just to lead you in such an example, make you such an example to everybody. So bless you, love you lots, and yeah, love you.
We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.